right, thank you for staying. Daybreak, the State of the Nation discussion starts right now, but let's touch on the dailies a bit and then see what else we can talk about in terms of the state of the nation. Are we heading in the right direction or the wrong direction? At Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya, use the hashtag Daybreak. Let me introduce my guest, starting from my farthest right, Honorable Robert Mbui, Member of Parliament for Katiani. Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you.
Honorable Yusuf Hassan, Member of Parliament for Kamkunji. Asante sana for making time. Honorable Tabitha Mutinda, nominated Senator. Thank you very much for making time. And Honorable Eddie Okech, Senator for Migori. Asante sana for making time. We're seeing here on the dailies, there's UDA jitters over polls, there's deep split in Ruto's party. But Honorable Mbui, I'd like to start with you on this conversation in terms of the split. There seems to be some times back, there was a conversation between the head of state and the deputy president on the issue of the shareholders. The deputy president says he has no apologies to make at all. The president can go around in other places and look for voters, but he's going to galvanize the Mount Kenya region and the Rift Valley region. This caused a lot of split in the political scene. Was that an overreaction from your end as members of parliament? Because then what is the problem with what the deputy president said and what the president is doing?
Yeah, thanks, Trevor. Now, my understanding is on that matter of the shareholding, there's two parts to it. First and foremost, I think the real target by the deputy president at the point when he started talking about it, because he started it when they were just about to form government, was actually a message to the president, because what he was saying is that about 47% of the votes cast in favor of Kenya Kwanza came from the mountain. And in essence, what he was doing, he was taking his claim as probably being the single most important region in supporting this government to come to power. And remember that the party leader, also the region he comes from, did not give as many votes. So I think that was what the fight was. But of course, as Azimio, we realized that that was also going to balkanize the country, and we refused that position. We made our position clear that it was very unfair to try and disenfranchise part of the country or parts of the country because of the way people voted. So I think basically the split started at that time. And if you keenly watch what is happening, even in the recent reshuffle of cabinet, it's a clear indication that there is a fight within Kenya Kwanza. There is a major fight, all the way from who speaks for which region, because that problem is happening. Not only is it in Mount Kenya, because I'll tell you, Trevor, that Mount Kenya, the deputy party leader is not sitting pretty. There are many members, elected members, that are also taking claim for the leadership of the region. In fact, I will tell you that going into 2027, it's very unlikely that the mountain will go in united. There will be several leaders, and that's why if you see some of the young leaders being propped up, I suspect most likely by the party leader. So going forward, if there is a problem there, you go to Western, you find there's again an issue of who is the leader in that region. So I think the division in Kenya Kwanza is really a big one, Trevor, and I don't know whether they can get out of it. But finally, on the issue of this shareholding, it's unfortunate that the deputy party leader of this Kenya Kwanza administration has not realized that he is the deputy president also of the Republic of Kenya. He has stuck in central Kenya and made sure that he makes it every day clear to everyone that his only interest in being in office is to defend one community, one region. Yeah. I mean, that obviously tells us that we are seriously headed in the wrong direction under the leadership of this team.
Yeah. Honorable Hassan, is this a lack of proper leadership or a show of vibrance in the political system of the Kenya Kwanza team, where we are open to say what you believe in as a leader without necessarily being castigated?
Well, I think this is a reflection of the nature of political parties we have in our country. We don't have a deep-rooted, ideologically based and coherent political parties. What we have are parties that are created for elections, kind of a mishmash of alliances, of individuals, what some people might call a distributive democracy. And in that situation, all kinds of people come together. Like look at UDA was just created at the last minute in order to be a vehicle. Yeah. What Kiraitu Murungi normally calls the matatu politics of our country. you go into a matatu that takes you to the destination you want. And once you get there, you get off. Now, it never had any structures. The main brand was William Ruto. And everybody coalesced around that particular leader to form this particular movement. And everybody got into that matatu at the last minute. There were no party structures. Yeah. There was no branches. And now that there's an effort by the leader of that particular, by the driver of that matatu, to create some kind of order, create a structure, then there is a very deadly jostle for positions. Because if you're not in that matatu, your future in the next election is going to be in a serious doubt.
So this is about 2027.
Absolutely.
Even about the current.
Absolutely. So when you talk about jitters and splits, I don't think there is really a serious problem in that movement, because it has got a very strong leader, a very determined and a very focused leader. The problem of managing these passengers, who are coming onto the bad wagon, is always a crisis that leads to the collapse or to the disintegration of some of these political parties. As we have seen with Jubilee, as we have seen with PNU, we have seen many of this in all the political parties, because they're not deep-rooted. They're going to be kept. And as long as the leader looks popular and has popular support, then he would have this problem of hangers-on who wants to be part of that particular success and to use that vehicle for their own personal benefit. So that's what I see if you look at the political formation. Unless we get to a position where that political parties are driven by ideological reasons, and members are in there because they believe in the philosophy of that particular party, then we're always going to have this jostling and contest and what the media may consider as splits and disputes. But overall, this vehicle belongs to William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya. And he will take it where he wants. And those who wants to follow him would have to fall in place, closer to the election time.
And there are those who will fall off as well.
Of course, there would be a lot of splits, there would be a lot of realliances. And I think some of the utterances that have been made by some of the leading members of this formation does not augur well for the run to the next election. The current leader probably would not want to antagonize any section of the country, because he's looking at the scenario of who is going to be his next, which support would come from which region. And he wants to be seen as someone who is carrying the whole country, rather than by catering for a particular region, despite the fact that he got enormous votes in some of those regions. So we're already seeing a realignment, reorganization, and people moving up and down, making sure that they are part of that vehicle that they think will take them to their destination come 2027.
Honorable Mutinda, should that be interpreted as extending an olive branch to the parts of the country that did not vote for him, or should it be interpreted as a split from the traditional voting baskets? Because that's where the people are drawing the line.
Thank you, Trevor, and thank you for having us this morning. And I would say that should sound like wisdom and an extension of the ruling party strategy, of course. And as a ruling party, as your UDA, there are no jitters, there are no issues within the party. What we have is strategies. What is happening is that we came and formed the party at the last minute. Yes, we did not really have structures. What we had was a common goal in ensuring that we will have a president, which we pride in because we are the ruling party. What do we do? What do we need to do? As leaders, then we sit down and say we want to put our house in order in terms of structures from the bottom to the top positions that we are putting in place. And so in that regard, we've also realized as a party, apparently, of course, being the ruling party, we've received a lot of interest from, of course, the other people who are on the opposition side now who want to come and join in the party. That has brought a bit of, eye-openings to the members who've been current, because now people, yes, are interested. Is it normal? It's normal to ride with the ruling party. It's normal to associate with the government. And there's nothing wrong with that, because we are open. And further to that, we are welcoming members even who are not on our side. The president has shown that, has indicated that by doing what? By going to the other counties. You saw that he was in Western for 5 days and welcoming the members on that, from that region and stating very clearly, it's not about shareholding. It's about giving services to all Kenyans, simply because we all pay taxes. We deserve
something different.
We deserve equal distribution of resources. We deserve equal services from the same government. What does the deputy president say when he talks about shareholding? What the deputy president simply tries to communicate and say from a political perspective is that, yes, we have our 51%. Who stood with that? There is nothing wrong in appreciating them in the first cadre. But he never says the 49% should not be given resources. He doesn't say like that. And that is why we've been able to split such that the president is on one side, the deputy president is on the other side, ensuring that, yes, we distribute resources, and at the same time, we continue bringing in more numbers, because our margin, if you remember very well, was just about 200. That is not too big or not too comfortable to sit back looking at 2027. So what we do is that we're expanding and trying to also acquire the 49%. And there's nothing wrong with that. So in a nutshell, there are no jitters. Yeah. As a ruling party, this is expected, because the opposition from the other side will always try and poke and look from all corners. What is happening? What is this? As Mheshimiwa had even put it, this is a party that has a party leader who is very wise. I keep on saying he's very managerial and strategic, because he comes from a Moi's time, and he has that firmness from Moi's time, whereby he puts things firmly. And at the same time, he has the energy, the Raila energy that is him. Now, the combination of our party leader, the combination of the president with those particular personalities, then of course makes us as a party continue using our strategies to acquire bigger shares. Definitely that will open eyebrows. And so the opposition will try to look at it from a negative point that raises eyebrows in terms of there is split, there is worry, and yet our house is very much in order. At the same time, there's so much democracy in our party, UDA, because in case there's a proposal, in case there's an issue, the leaders come in. Okay. The deputy president yesterday had a meeting at our party headquarters with the party leadership that is there currently. Why? Because yes, at Women Congress, we suggested, would we postpone maybe this? It's a suggestion. And leadership that is there is so great, because it says, let us have a sitting, let us discuss. It is not just thumping. Yep. It's not about one man party show, because the president is out of the country, the deputy party leader is available. He comes in and sits in, and we talk as a team, we talk as a party, because we are one house. Okay. What is wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. This is
the conversation that was had in the Women Congress. And let's listen to that and see whether this is a split or it's just a team of people having a conversation. And also the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua had something to say in terms of whether there's a split in government or not. Listen.
The government of the Republic of Kenya, under the very able leadership of President William Ruto, is one and is solid and very stable. And there can never be any division or any conflict. That is a creation of people who are still living in denial. President and I are joined together at the hip.
We are here not as flower girls, but as leaders in our own right, to be felt, to be heard, to be seen, and to participate. We especially recognize you today, because the UDA win would not have been possible without your dedication. Women only want to be involved, engaged, and allowed around the table.
So that conversation from Barire and
Veronica, the former SG,
you think that was not a split?
There's no split, and McHugh, and it's great that you even played that clip. The Deputy President is very clear and affirms and says there is no division. We are very much united. This is the beauty of it. Our party structure that is current for our elections in December has given us as women an opportunity. They say that, for example, for the chair position, if a chair is a woman, then the deputy should be a man, and vice versa. If it's a man, then the deputy should be a woman. And many other positions in terms of the positions where a deputy is required. So there's going to be gender. So you find that at least as far as women are concerned, we are going to still have slots that will be at least available, and you can be able to bargain for them much more easily, because the party has put directions and says there's going to be gender balance. So there's no problem. There's a lot of unity. There's a lot of consensus, and this party is going to grow from the numbers we have. I had my colleague saying that the deputy is bringing in the young leaders. Then I asked myself this morning, what is wrong? My colleague Senator Eddie is one of the youngest senators in the House. If Baba had not supported him as a young leader, then where would we be? We appreciate when leaders who have been senior, who support young leader, most are a young leader. So there is nothing wrong when leaders keep on supporting young leaders, as Deputy President is doing, as the President is doing. Okay. There is nothing wrong. Baba is doing the same thing, and that is the spirit for us. The young leaders should be held and continue to continue.
Eddie, what is your assessment? Is there a split in government? Are we heading in the right direction or the wrong direction?
Thank you, Trevor. First of all, let me take this chance to say hello to all Kenyans who have tuned in to join us in this conversation. We always appreciate that. I think that, you know, the Deputy President has called himself a number of things. There's a day that he equated himself as a hyena, as working as a hyena. There's a time that he equated himself as an ostrich. And I think that, you know, some of these animals have got a character that is distinct. You know, an ostrich, sometimes when they see an hyena coming to attack them, they start burying their heads on the sand. What is happening in UDA is not anything new. This is something that you have seen in the past. You know, this is how, you know, UDA was born. I actually love the fact that Mheshimiwa has hinted that UDA is a daughter or son, depending on where you stand from, of Jubilee. And when Jubilee JIT had started, they started equally the same way. So there is no doubt that there is a split, or if not split, then there is some disquietness in UDA. The concern, though, would be if that disquiet was just among members, then it would be an issue, because different patent interest in a political party will always manifest among members. But if the disquiet is between a party leader and his or her deputy, then it becomes a concern, which is what we are seeing in UDA. So then it behooves us to ask, what is this disquietness? The disquietness can only be analyzed with what is the purpose for these elections, and how are the two seeing the different elections playing. We have seen very well that the party leader of UDA, that is President Ruto, has been very keen on making sure that the country can have one single party. Okay? And the effort, the strategy why he is probably pro having these early party elections, and as my sister Senator Tabitha has just said, is for what they call inclusion of every other person in the country. And that's an ideology that basically says that if it was even good, all the people who are happening to be in government today through other parties should bundle all their parties and join this one party. And you see, that could be the intention of the president. Yeah. That let me expand this, let me move very fast and recline on my promises to other parties that I had put in government, the promise that I made to PA in the coast, the promise that I had made to ANC, the promise that I had made to Ford Kenya. All these people, let me go very fast and hoodwink them into government. That is the purpose why the president is pushing these elections to go very fast, and that is the purpose why Cleophas Malala is existing in UDA party, to be able to actually make sure that he engulfs the entire Western to bring in. Now, you can see why that is a major problem to the deputy party leader, because the deputy party leader believes that this UDA party is his company, together with the president, and they own the biggest share, that nobody else should come in what Mheshimiwa Mbui was talking about, this ideology and this belief that once you're in state, then it's your time to eat, because you cannot eat from the state. In Rigiji's mindset, you cannot eat from the state when you did not arrive in the state with a pseudo company. And the pseudo company that Rigiji arrived with in the state is UDA party. So the issue is, the deputy president does not want people into their party because it's his company, and it is a company that defines how they get positions in government, opportunities in government, and any other thing that can be able to get in government. But the president holds a different opinion that I need to consolidate and be able to prepare for 2027 election. And this is something that we have seen the president do even when it comes.
So it is all about 2027.
For him, it's about 2027. For Rigiji, it's about how can we be able to get the best out of this government as a region and as myself and as a people as much as I can get. So you can see if he brings people in right now, he will have a problem.
Okay.
That is the cost split. And we must analyze it
just one second, because I'm the only UDA member. I'm the only UDA member, and the topic being on UDA, I just want to ask a very simple question. If a husband and a wife, they are fighting, and you go to the wife, you ask, are you fighting? They say no. You go to the husband, are you fighting? They say no. So who are you from as an outsider to start claiming your own views? Because the deputy president has stated very clearly, we are very united. There is no division. There will never be division. The president has not even uttered any of those words. So why are the outsiders wanting to have their own opinion and fix it to fit their own narrative? They want the way they want to fix it. I want to state categorically on this table that we are very much united. We are very okay. There are no issues within the party, and we are very focused. When you keep on, as you are ranting, we are strategizing to increase our numbers.
You know, my sister here is a very young legislator, and both of us are in Senate. And when we sit on TV like this, we need to inspire future generations to start changing different politics. You cannot deny what is obvious in the nation. You cannot deny some statements that you don't want to single out the statement that Rigiji said in the convention that you are having, against all other statements that the media has gathered and put here as Rigiji has pronounced himself on these issues. And I think that the obsession that we should have as a young people, and which Mheshimiwa had talked about here very well, is that can we start pushing these parties to be ideologically based? Because, you know, when you deny that there's no problem in UDA, and then from the same mouth you say that UDA did not have an ideology, it just came together so that they could get power. We
didn't say we didn't have ideology.
No, that's what you said, and it's on record that
we are united.
Just came together as an urgent matatu vehicle to get power. That means that it grabbed power without an agenda.
That group of Yusuf there.
And we won. What is important is that we won, and what is important is that we are united.
Okay, let me hear what Robert Mbui has to say about this.
You know, I'm very surprised. You know, it's more than a year since the last election.
Yeah.
And every time you listen to a member of the Kenya Kwanza regime, they keep reminding us that they won. The Honorable Senator has just said that we won. I mean, is there a contest about the last election?
No.
And now, every day they are talking about 2027. When will this country be served? Now, you know, you're saying there are no jitters. First, there is no agreement on the date.
Yes.
That's already in record. That the women have said, no, we must postpone it. And there's another team saying, no, it has to be done now. Obviously, that means there's already a split. There's a disagreement on the date itself. There's a disagreement on how they will go forward, because if you remember, there are a lot of political partners that, you know, ganged up with UDA to form Kenya Kwanza. And there's been a drive, a hidden drive by some of the leaders, particularly the Secretary General, telling people to collapse all their parties and join. And that is the only way they will retain their positions within government. Otherwise, they will be thrown out. Now, remember, Trevor, that obviously, if you're one of the leaders, you'd be concerned, because you know that there's a possibility that maybe by failing to collapse your party, you might find yourself in bad books. And again, if we are doing this for 2027, then exactly where will you be placed in 2027 versus those people that will be already on their side? So basically, there's already a conflict there, and that's really it's out there in the open. There's a conflict between SG and Boni Halwale in Kakamega. That's already a conflict that is in public domain. There's a conflict between the deputy party leader and the CS Moses Kuria. It's in public domain. So the fact is there is serious conflict in that party. I don't know how they will steer this nation, because they've concentrated on their fights and forgotten that we have a bigger picture of running the nation.
Hold on, let's see what Hassan has to say first.
Yes. But this is comes down to the fact that the politics of our country are individually driven. And everybody knows that the political party system is not fair. It is not democratic. We don't have democratically run political parties. Political parties are owned or run by the principals who form them. And so every individual who wants to survive politically in this country belongs to a particular party. And they want to have the security of having a significant position in that political party, to have any future, to be re-elected. Yeah. And so this is what is driving our political parties, regardless of which party it is. And once you become a powerful party that gets into power, then obviously the contest in those political parties for individuals jostling for position, not now. You have to be the chairman, or you have to be an executive in that political party to have any future of being selected as a member of parliament, as a senator, as a woman rep, as a governor, and so on and so forth. And that is what is happening. People are fighting for their political lives here.
Okay.
And I may not call it a split or a dispute, but it is a contestation.
Okay.
And these are the contestations that have bedeviled our politics since independence. Okay. You know, we started with KANU, you had KADU, you had KPU, and then you came on to the various political splits. Even look at now the people who are seated here from the different political parties. The president started with the KANU. He was a member of KANU. Then he came into NAC. And then now he came into URP and Jubilee. And now he's UDA. All of those changes that have taken place as a result of positioning himself in a place where he can have political power and determine who is going to be who in this country, until he became the party leader himself and the president. Okay. So all of these members have ambitions. When you look at the women speaking out, they have ambitions. They're saying, where would I be in 2027? Okay. And I think that is what is happening. Our politics are so personalized, so short-term, and so opportunistic, that there is really no other way than what is happening here. It is happening to UDA. Yes. It happened to ODM at one time. It has happened to Jubilee. And I wouldn't be surprised that come 2027, there may not be the same political formations that we have now. Because the political equilibrium, the political process would shift. That maybe there would be a new outfit, a new alliance. I
have to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, now speaking of splits, we are done with the UDA. Now there's another split on the Azimio side. Simmering tension over Raila's support for Kalonzo in 2027.
Wanted to respond.
Did he not? We'll come back in just a bit. I have to take a quick commercial break. I'll give you a chance to respond right after this break.